Hello, everybody. This is Brian from Necronomicast. Thank you for tuning in for this exciting 14th season of the show. Could not do it without you. Now, if you're ever wondering if there was kind of a fun and inexpensive way that you could support the production of this show, I've got news for you. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/Necronomicast. Every time I have an author, a documentary filmmaker, or a creative person on this show to talk about their project, you know I've supported their project. So if you go to buymeacoffee.com/Necronomicast, that will enable me to continue to do the work that I do here on the show. So thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart for all the support and encouragement you've given me over the years. And you know what? If you buy me a cup of coffee at the website, I would be more than happy to deliver a personalized message to you on the show. 2 or more cups of coffee? I'm going to send you something in the mail. buymeacoffee.com/Necronomicast. And now, on with the show. From Omaha, Nebraska, the capital city of the historic, haunted heartland, my name is Brian Corey, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all, young and old, to this special episode of the world-famous Necronomicast. Episode 301, my friends, is here, and it is my great pleasure to welcome to the show psychic medium, the Good Witch of Hollywood, Patti Negri. She's best known for her reoccurring role on Discovery Channel's top-rated show Ghost Adventures, but millions more have seen her on MasterChef, America's Got Talent, Portals of Hell, because she's the #1 psychic medium, trans medium, psychic reader, witch, magical practitioner in the world. So find out why everybody's talking about Patti Negri on Necronomicast. And now calling in on the Newsmaker hotline for the Necronomicast, it's my pleasure to welcome to the program the great Patti Negri. Patti, thanks for being a part of the show. I'm super excited to talk to you.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm super excited to talk to you. That makes 2 of us. Yay.
All these years of having you in my living room through the television set, and now we're having this conversation on Necronomicast. Yeah, this is great. This is great. I've been, I've known about you for a long time, and to have you finally on the show, what a treat for sure.
Well, thank you. Again, honored to be here. This is great.
Yeah. I got an advanced copy of your book here. This is great. Dollcraft.
Thank you.
I haven't read through all of the poppet section at the end. I haven't read through that, but I read everything up to that and into that. So I'm super excited to talk to you about your new book and all the other things that you've got going on in the world of Patti Negri. And how exciting! Like, my goodness gracious! Like, I don't even know where to begin. I've had witches on the show before. I guess one other witch. I had Bloody Mary from New Orleans on.
Your friend.
Great. Super fun episode. And then I've had other psychics on the show, like Cindy Kaza's my buddy. And also Tessa Del Zappo's been on the show.
No.
Oh, Tessa, she's married to Nick Groff.
Oh, Tessa. Oh, I thought you said something. I know. I love Tessa, dear friend.
Yeah.
Actually, I just got to know him last year. We did this really goofy for charity game show, a live game show together. She's adorable. Yeah.
She's pretty awesome. I had her on the show before her and Nick got married. So that's why I said her main name in case anybody else was looking for her that episode. But yeah, Tessa Groff. And but to have you on the program, like, you're long established, highly respected. You bring so much love and light to the things that you do. So this is going to be a lot of fun for sure.
Thank you.
So yeah, like, people are like, wow, you're going to have a witch on the show. And I'm like, yeah, I've had one on before. And they're like, ooh, crazy, like witchcraft, like you get that kind of, that excitement, because it's not every day you run into somebody that's a witch. But I even see behind you there's a sign that says, I'm the good witch. So you identify yourself as a good witch. And what does that mean?
Well, number one, it means I'm a big damn fan of The Wizard of Oz, and I have the big Glinda dress. I have that pink puffy. I'm working on showing up in a big bubble. I haven't figured that one out yet. Well, I don't like the words black and white and good, are evil, but I'm good. And that means a lot of things. Number one, it means I'm really good at what I do, at the practice of craft. Number two, I do only work in the light. because not good or evil, heaven or hell, but you live in the world you create. If I'm sending out positive energy, I live in this positive world. If I'm sending out, hexes and curses, I live in that world. It's whether you call that karma or the kickback or what you put out, you get back 3 times. And honestly, if you can get everything that you want from positive magic, why would you live in a negative? Honestly, I know I'm not judgmental. I have a lot of friends who will do dark magic, but they start getting cranky. And then sometimes they start getting paranoid. And then sometimes they even start getting sick. I mean, even not to make light of this, but even Ghost Adventures, Zach always loved the Good Witch, Bad Witch with Lady Snake and myself. And it was fun. And I like her as a person and I respect her as a witch, but she was willing to do dark magic that I'm not willing to do for my own ethical integrity reasons. But again, she's dead. I'm not going to be here for a long, long time. And not that I'm putting that's because she did that, but I just see it too clearly in too many things. So my choice doesn't have to reflect anybody else's, but I'm a good witch.
When I think of witches and witchcraft and people that identify that way, I think of people that are like manipulating the world around them in such a way with either incantations or, with their own personal kind of spin on magic. Because it seems to be a very personal a thing, like a spell or forgive me if my words aren't correct,
right?
But like your incantations, the things that work for you, that you lean upon, don't necessarily work for other people. So it's a very personalized form of manifestation of getting the energy around you to work in some kind of way that you want it to. Is that kind of like what it is?
I mean, actually, it could mean 2 things. To say you're a witch can mean 2. One, it could be, this is my religion. It's a spiritual choice. Okay. I'm a witch, which means, okay, I have a god and a goddess. I might have multi-deities. I work with nature. So it could be, I go to a park instead of a church. It could be the religion. Mm-hmm. And then there's the practice of witchcraft, which means, yes, I do spells and incantations. It means I'm willing to take fate into my own hands, of which there is a cost, again, cause and effect, fate into my own hands versus naturally, if we go natural, the wind blows us this way, the sails go this way. And naturally things kind of just run downhill they take the easiest path. Say you want to climb up that mountain, to me, that would be a spell. I'm going to get to that top of the mountain. Here's a good example of, to me, what the difference of a good and a bad or positive or negative spell would be. Say the water is on the mountain and it runs down and feeds the beautiful village. The village thrives because all you need is water in your world, right? You're building a house on the mountain, but it's just down the way a little bit. You don't have that water. To me, to do a spell is I'm putting up a dam and I'm putting some pipes that go to my house and I'm getting all the things. To me, a not good spell is I'm taking all the water, and now those villagers will die or come back and kill me, one or the other. Now, if I build that dam and I put those pipes in, I believe the universe will always supply. I can have all the water I want. I could have water features and ponds and pools, and the village can have all they want, and everybody lives happily ever after.
Interesting.
That's simple to me. It's like, if you're not negatively affecting anybody, do what you will and do what you want with your world. But as soon as you start, I'm screwing you up or somebody else up, like even with love spells, bring me the love of my life. We can do that. If you go, bring me Bob, what if Bob's not the run of your life? We don't have Bob's permission. Right. If we do have Bob's permission, you don't need the love spell anyway, know. And I could make Bob fall in love with you. And if he's not meant to be, it'd be the worst relationship you'd ever have. You'd be going, take away the spell. He's a stalker, obsessive idiot, Well,
how long does a spell I've got some things I wanted to hit on here, but you bring up something that's very interesting. So suppose you do something like that. Does it depend on the witch's power or like the skills that you've accumulated over the years? Like it's one thing to make Bob like notice you and kind of like be, amorous towards you, but what about the holding power of that? Is it just like the You know what I mean? Like a love spell, does it just form the instant or the attraction, but nothing further? And you got to nurture that on your own. What's up?
Well, it's what you put in the spell. See, I would open a door for Bob, help Bob notice you.
Mhm.
And then you and Bob take it from there. I'm not going to make him fall in love with you. We'll bring you the love of your life. And maybe it's Jeff around the corner. Who's to say? But I think it's really, I believe in the basic psychology, mind, body, spirit.
Yeah.
That everything we create, mind, you have to believe it. We'll never surpass our own belief system. Psychology has proven that. If you think you can, climb the mountain and conquer the world, that's the people that do. If you don't think you're going to be successful in life, you're not going. Mind, body, you have to get off the couch and take action. You do.
Mm-hmm.
Want to get healthier, you got to get off the couch. Spirit, that's the part that seems less tangible and people don't quite get that. To me, spirit is the battery that makes something happen. And you can get the energy, and you could get that lots of ways. You could get through it through traditional religion, go to church, go to temple, pray. That's the faith that make it happen. You could do all the new age stuff, vision boards, affirmations, whatever. Or you could do spells and candles and herbs and oils. Oh my. But you could look at everything you've ever created in your life, your podcast, your beautiful life. You've believed you could do it and that you deserved it, gotten off the couch and taken action toward it. And you had some form of magic or faith or just belief around it. And the stuff that we haven't quite accomplished, one or two of those things just need tweaking. You don't really believe it, or you don't see yourself having it, or you just haven't put the work in. And in witchcraft, instead of going mind, body, spirit of psychology, or the 20,000 self-help books written on it, I call that creation working dispatch. Creation. I'm going to do a love spell. So it's the mind part. I'm going to do it on a Friday because that's the day of love. Ooh, water. Water is emotion. I'm going to do a nice bath. Rose petals, highest vibration love plant. I'm going to add some cinnamon. My body. There I am taking that bath with those herbs. And the spirit is the spell, faith, magic you put into it. It's just different words, just like templates you put on top.
I knew this was going to be a fun conversation. You're a wealth of information. I think we're probably similar ages. And so I know just from knowing about you and listening to you for the last couple of years and whatnot, that you had these experiences and these revelations come to you very young, like 7. I think I heard you having like your first attempted seance, when you were like 7, like that's amazing. Like about the same time I was getting involved with not involved, but like getting interested in like Bigfoot and things like that. So what is it about like being little kids, and then having this, these revelations come to you, or like the door to the strange phenomena opening itself up and us walking through?
I honestly think kids are born with it, because I talk a lot left brain, left logical. We need our 1 + 1 = 2. Stop it red. But the right, the creative, intuitive, spiritual, that is where the magic happens. That's where our interest in Bigfoot and knowing that if you put rosemary in your mom's purse, which I was doing at 7, knowing that would bring her money, talking to spirits. I think kids have that because we flourish our imagination, because that's what grows it. When I teach my mediumship classes, it's like, let that go. But in our modern, Western, complete non-mystical, complete left brain focus, we're losing it. And it gets taught out of most kids. They took art and everything fun out of schools. And that even messes up our left brain. My local elementary school, it's a cute little 100-year-old in the Hollywood Hills. Nobody from the Hills sent their kids there because it was a horrible school. It was the lowest percentile. They didn't learn their reading, writing, and arithmetic. So the richer people in the Hills sent them to private schools, and the poor people in the flats went. And my neighborhood went, we didn't like that. We're going, no. I'm on the board of the Arts Council. We did not change their math teachers or their English teachers. We brought in art classes, dance, gardening, photography, drawing. Within 2 years, we became a school of excellence without their reading scores, their writing scores, everything. And now the children from the Hills go there too and mix. It's an urban school as it should be. And we didn't change the math or teachers. We opened up that creative side. We have to dance between logic and intuition, knowledge and knowing. So it luckily didn't get taught out of me. My mom always went, yeah, Grandma did that too. There's somebody in the bottom of the room. Yeah, Grandma saw that too. And I wasn't raised with any kind of an oppressive religion that this is dark or evil or anything like that. This is just part of life.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like at 7, you're talking about putting rosemary in your mom's purse to kind of conjure up or manifest some money in there.
Yes.
And that takes a lot of like insight for a little kid to realize that, like, we don't have a lot, and then I'm going to do something to help. So good witch. But where, like, let's pin it down a little bit. Like, where did you have like an aunt or something? Like, how did you know to put rosemary? Like, were the spirits communicating with you? Like, how did you know to do that in order to help your mom out? I think that's very sweet.
It's intuition. Again, how do animals know how to care for their young? Again, people don't use their intuition enough because it got taught out of us. It became, you do this and then this, do that, and then you do this. I don't know. I would be in my backyard with a mint. I would make the weird concoctions, and I was just playing, but it's like, no, mom needs money. She didn't quite get it as I'm stuffing dirt and leaves into her wall. It's like, Patti, what are you doing? No, this is money. No, it's really not money. It's like leaves. Nope. This will bring you money. And again, she humored me, and it works. And then years later, when I'm studying herbs and apothecary, it's like, I was right.
Wow. So it all came to you. Now, you touched on something a second ago when you were talking about the underprivileged school, or, and you brought in the arts classes and whatnot. And this is kind of a neat connection. I did a online lecture with Ryan Sprague's Somewhere in the Skies podcast. He had a thing called Anomicon. And my lecture was about the connectiveness between the human consciousness, like ghosts and apparitions and things like that, and music. Because I'm a musician. I was a music major in college. And so played a lot in community theaters, like old historic theaters. And, just the connection between a live audience of a musician or a performer on stage, the performer on stage and the live audience, that connection, that. And so when you're talking about bringing in arts and everything into a school and how it raised the spirit of the school, like of the community, that's a real thing.
It's a real thing. And honestly, music is the best magic there is.
Yeah.
Music, you could change your mood. You could go from happy to sad to crying to this to that. You could be inspired. You could be made sexy. You could do I'm married to a musician. I'm married to a drummer.
Poor woman. As a trumpet player, I have to make that joke. Some of my best friends are drummers.
Yeah, mine too. But no, music is. And again, it's the magic of it and the emotion of it and the flow of it. And now science is catching up with the megahertz and the sound and the bells. And this classical piece will cure cancer. I mean, science is now catching up with kind of just belief systems. Magic, spirituality is kind of always known. And I love that they're crashing together like this.
I do too. And I think it's really cool. Like what I talked about in my little online lecture was about how the emotions of the actor on stage, the wide ranging, making people laugh, making people cry, making people angry, bringing that out of people, and then people fueling their emotions as they're witnessing that to the performer on stage. And that's why I think like so many haunted locations are like community theaters and places of public speaking and places where people congregate and kind of focus their energy toward a central spot on the stage. And then also it goes out into the community that's gathered to watch it. Yeah, I think it's super fascinating.
I do too. And I mean, so many old theaters are haunted. I mean, almost every one. And I also believe big in life, big in death. And spirits, I don't think they're stuck there, but they go hang out. It's like, these were the best. I was doing community theater or professional theater. These were the best days of my life. I was Annie, whatever that was. They hang out. And again, big personality, Bob the Quiet Banker is probably Bob the Quiet Ghost, maybe hanging out at B of A somewhere. But I'm an actor. I'm at the theater and I'm going to make that chandelier say, oh, the ghost light, big in life, big in death. I even think, because how many prisons we go to in the paranormal. I talk to the spirit, and yes, there is the tortured ones. And yes, there is the ones holding the other ones in and not by choice. But I even think most of those, like, they hang out on purpose. They're not being tortured anymore. And it's the life they knew. If you spent 50 years in lockup and these are your buddies, that's where you're going to go hang.
Right.
You're going to hang.
What else do you know?
So you don't have to go in going, oh, are you being tortured? Yes, you will find those and pick them out. But I like to find the ones going, yeah, this is my world. I hang,
That's cool. I want to ask you some ghost hunting questions because, you have tons of experience and you've been on the #1 paranormal television show over and over and over again. Remarkable career that you've got. But like with ghost hunting or going to experience things, like I always feel like people are putting way too much into trying to prove or gather evidence, which it's important. I'm not trying to downplay that, but I mean, there's so much that needs to be, I think, focused on the experience of like having interactive human experience. Because if we are dealing with these non-corporeal entities that once were human in terms of flesh and blood, but if they have a consciousness that we can still kind of reckon with, like we got to get out of the phone, get out of the Boo Bear and the cat balls and these lights. They're fun and everything, but I mean, like really trying to focus on having like a communicative experience with somebody else that's out there.
Yeah, I agree too. And that's just the other stuff is nice confirmation. And the guys were doing it, even working with Zach and Aaron and the guys, they've gotten more, let's do a ma chant. Let's do that. You feel this, you take it in. My YouTubers, especially working Elton Castay and all my overnight, we work with them and now it's like, I feel it over here, not just K2 meter sends me over here. Why I like equipment, I want everybody to tap into it because I still think everybody has it. Why the equipment is fun is like, say I'm over in this corner and I'm seeing a ghost do jumping jacks. You believe me or you don't believe me, but now there's somebody with a SLS camera in the other room who can't see me. And there's a little green stick figure doing jumping jack. Yes, that's what I'm seeing. So that's why I like the technology stuff, is just to confirm what I'm sensing, seeing, feeling, as long as we're separated. Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. I think since there is no such thing as a scientific ghost detector, like our human bodies we need to pay attention to what we're feeling. Like there's a haunted location that I've spent quite a bit of time in the last probably 2 years, this castle in Omaha, Nebraska. Yes, there's a castle here. Huh? And going in there, I go up the stairs and I didn't notice it at first, but my attention kept drawing to one particular spot. And I didn't say anything to the tour guides or the people that, allow me in there, but I was just like, man, what? And I just noticed that like my head kept turning and looking over there. And at one point I said something and they're like, oh, that's funny that you mentioned that, because there is people are always doing that, or people are always focusing on this particular part of the building and they don't know why. And they feel things there. And without them saying that to me, I noticed it on my own. So I'm like, but if I was buried into a piece of equipment, I probably wouldn't have noticed that. I would have seen how much battery life I had on my.
Yeah, I can tell you're super intuitive. You're super gifted. Honestly, you wouldn't be in this weird world of ours if you weren't. Somebody who's just so closed off or so not into it you'd be doing a knitting club or doing something else.
Hey, somebody's got to do that stuff, though.
Yeah, but it's just learning to trust it and, again, pay attention to it.
Yeah. Now, you started off in the corporate world, and you were a little bit scared and bashful to acknowledge or bring that part of yourself out, which you are not bashful anymore. That's for sure.
No. I mean, it's funny because I'm a Hollywood girl. I went from actor dancer to when I got too old for Hollywood. Then I was a producer and I was producing, and my clients, super corporate, Mattel, Microsoft, national banks. I'd create these big shows and song and dance. And I'm like, ugh, these people just can't know. Number one, I talk to dead people. And number two, I dance around bonfires in a cape going, we'll just keep that private. We'll just keep that private. But in 2008, when that big corporate, and I ran this production company like years, all of a sudden that the corporate crash came and corporate entertainment became a dirty word. My shows crashed and burned. They're like, we can't hire you, give you all this money to create a show or create a video because we're laying people off. We can't. I'm like, I understand. Corporate crash. At the same time, reality television was going deet, 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 deet. And I remember and again, I have a background of both sides of the camera, improv, sketch, and I'm a legitimate psychic medium and a legitimate trained witch. So I remember getting a call from somebody. They're going, Patti, who my private life is very open, but not public. They're going, Patti, we need you to do a seance on our reality show. I'm like, oh no, thank you, but no, thank you. That's my private work. If I was acting and doing it, but no, I can't. Please, no, please. I go, thank you, but I just can't. That's my private life. I have, and then I'm looking at my completely empty calendar, like, well, I can't. But what's the name of the show? And literally, she goes, it's called Mobile Home Disaster, and it's on country music television.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know anybody who'd watch that. A show called Mobile Home Disaster? Well, maybe I could do it. I don't know anybody who would watch it. I'm like, okay, just this once. I went, and oh my God, Brian, it was the most fulfilling thing I had done since I could remember. It was fun. I got to help this human little girl that everybody thought was crazy because she was drawing portals on the ceiling of her motorhome. I'm like, no, there are portals on the ceiling of her motorhome. I got to help the spirit who was kind of stuck there because of it cross over. And almost best of all, I got to help the Southern Bible Belt cast and crew open their mind just a little bit that this isn't dark or evil or scary in any which way. And I was the sweat's beating down there. And I was like, oh my God, this was the best day ever, but never again. So a couple months later, the show aired. I'm like, well, that's fun. I know how to be on camera. My very first phone call that next morning was my biggest corporate client, national client. Hi, Patti. Hi. I saw you on television last night. Oh, as my voice cracks. Yeah. I didn't know you were into the paranormal. Yeah. And she goes, oh, paranormal. What? And proceeded to tell me her first ghost story. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm out of the closet. I'm out of the broom closet. I'm out of the psychic medium closet, and I haven't looked back.
Isn't that cool how you can know somebody professionally and on other levels too? And you find another way to connect with a human being, like through our weird stories or weird experiences or things that are not considered normal, but my goodness gracious, they are absolutely normal.
I know. And it so much more fun now. We used to, okay, now we've got to teach, new policy to the HR department through you're allowed to touch somebody on the elbow, nowhere else it's like, no, let's go talk to college students. Let's do a mediumship gallery and just open their minds a little bit. Just let's talk to grandma. Let's go do a funny TV show. Let's go. Because all of what I do, I started my school 5 years ago. I started my streaming network 5 years ago. Everything I do really is just to empower people. I don't care what you believe or you like ghosts, just to remind you how amazing humans are.
Yeah. And you mentioned your network, like Paraflix, right? Yeah, I've checked it out many times. Let's see.
Bring your show on.
I'm sorry?
Bring your show on it. We love podcasts.
Whoopee. I'll be in touch with you about that. But it's just cool. Like now as we're seeing, I had some contacts through the publicity departments of like travel and, discovery and bringing like-minded paranormal people onto my show as guests. That's how I once I got kind of accepted by the publicity departments, then I started getting some guests in and then networking from there and whatnot. But what's cool is that in an age where reality TV is starting to become, kind of cut for cost cutting because of all these crazy corporate mergers and everything, that people are going out onto YouTube. They're going and forming like Shane Pittman. He's got Beacon TV. He's got the new show coming out with Dave and Cindy. And then like Paraflix has been around and doing quality content. And it's like people are taking this initiative with the technology that's even more readily available and creating their own content the way that they want to. And without having like corporate producers in suits saying you can do this or can't do that.
It's the future. It is. And it's the now. And believe me, I work with so many of these YouTubers and stuff. They have freedom of whatever. They have bigger budgets than Travel Channel and really Travel Channel or Discovery. They're stuffing me on a little Southwest plane in here and we're staying whatever. My YouTubers on occasion fly me private and we're at the best way. It's like, this is flipped. This is completely flipped. And now when I was young and in Hollywood, You had to wait for somebody to hire you as an actor or a writer or to be on a show or to create a show. Now you just can do it yourself. And if you're good, both, I think, talent and luck and a million things come together, you don't have to wait for anybody to give you permission. And I think it's fabulous.
Yeah, I see all these shows coming out, like the Destination Fear. People put out their own stuff. Like I said, Paraflix, Beacon, everybody that's got a camera and some creative chutzpah is putting out something, and it's great stuff. Like it's almost like I can't keep up.
No, it's really hard to watch TV anymore. Is that on Netflix or Amazon or Paraflix or Beacon, or is that? It's really hard. I sit there with like my phone trying to figure out what channel to watch something on.
Yeah. Well, okay, you do all these things now. I'd be remiss now. My kids and my wife are hooked on watching like Hell's Kitchen with Gordon Ramsay. And I know you've been on more than just ghost shows and everything.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk to you because we've been watching a hell of a lot of Hell's Kitchen in our house lately. And you were on his show Master Chef. Like you had to try out, and I mean, so cooking, is that like conjuring, sorry if I say this the wrong way, but like you have the old Halloween stereotype of a cauldron and people stirring, the witches stirring the brew. Like is there any kind of correlation between like cooking a masterful dish and also conjuring up a masterful spell and
exact same thing, Brian. Yeah. And it's called kitchen magic. I honestly don't even know what saute means, but I have a challenge. I went on to MasterChef going, air, fire, water, earth, goddess, now. Gordon Ramsay is afraid of ghosts. He is. Because, I mean, what you see on TV is what you see on TV. Like Ghost Adventures, you shoot for 4 days and you get 44 minutes. I was sequestered at MasterChef for 2 weeks working with Gordon, working with everybody, even though you get your moments on stage. But no, I like a challenge. That's my gig. I can't cook. My first challenge was because, again, the good part of a witch about me is that I believe we can do anything we believe we can do. I had insane health issues when I was young. My mom took a drug that they gave to pregnant women in the 50s and 60s under the belief that it prevented miscarriages, but they knew it didn't work from the middle 50s before my mom ever took it. But it was the first big pharma tragedy. But we hit puberty and we didn't hit puberty right. I didn't hit puberty right. I literally, this is all weird. I went into menopause at 15.
Oh, wow. Was this thalidomide?
No, it's called diethylstilbestrol. Thalidomide, flipper babies. Everybody knew about them. Similar to, because that's an obvious when it's reproductive issues and cancerous issues.
Oh, wow.
Stuff you don't talk about, especially back then. But, I was 50 on the outside. I had my first surgery. I was 9 on the inside. I had every autoimmune, lupus, fibromyalgia. That was when first, there's a lot of this bad hormone and stuff. It was in beef. So I became a victim between 15 and 30. I started doing magic at about that age. So it's like, I'm like, if I believe I can do anything, and I'm in this master spellcaster, by the time I was 30 and the doctor said, Patti, you have a brain tumor. If you make it to 50, which you probably won't because of all these carcinage and breast cancer, if you make it to 50, you'll be in a wheelchair. And I went, I'm done. I'm never going to get sick again. Brian, I haven't got sick in decades. I didn't even get COVID. I don't get colds. I stopped getting sick at 30, a long time.
Okay. So like, I mean, you kind of explained it, but I mean, like, what is it that does it? I mean, Lloyd Auerbach wrote a book like Mind Over Matter. Is it mind over matter kind of a thing?
All of the above. It's mind. That's the mind, body, spirit, creation, working, dispatch. Yes, you have to believe I'm healthy from here on in. Even I went from having like at 16, osteoporosis in the bones of an 80-year-old to getting into normal by 50. So I just stopped getting sick. I don't. Everybody's like, I'll be in a room full of COVID people. It's like, I'm fine. And it works. We are manifestors. So at 50, and I like a challenge. When I started turning fear into a positive instead of a negative, like, no, I don't want to make that phone call. I don't want to go in. It's just like, like the riding of the roller coaster. So I'm like, to prove that I'm not dead. I'm not in a wheelchair. I'm in the middle of Hollywood and I like a challenge. So I'm going to try out for the world's hardest obstacle course. So that's when I tried out for Wipeout. I beat 100,000 people, most of them half of my age, again, without whatever these supposed health issues I had had. And I did the big balls. I did those big balls. Hardest, most painful, most freezing, cold, empowering thing I had ever done. When I got there, I'm like, oh, I forgot I'm afraid of heights. And I'm looking at the burning of water that you have to fall 50 feet into. And then I'm like, when you face a challenge like that and you do it, it was like, like you could do anything after that. If I could do this, I could do anything. I could make that phone call. I could create this business. I could talk to dead people. I can do whatever. So it was really good. So that's when I went, okay, this was so much fun. What else can I do? I beat the physical that I'm supposed to be dead. What can I not do? Well, my husband won't let me in the kitchen. I got kicked out of home ec in high school. But I do believe in magical cooking. I could write a cookbook on what cinnamon brings passion, basil stops arguments, stir clockwise, everything we do in spellcasting. So I totally played the witch card. I beat way over 100,000 people to get on MasterChef. And I kept going, any second they're going to figure out, I have no idea. And again, we spent weeks sequestered. They take away your phone. They take away your laptop. Any of these competitions where there's big money, it's under federal gaming laws. So I couldn't talk to my husband, my dog for weeks on end. If those people are on those shows for weeks, you're sequestered.
Wow.
But I remember they would take us shopping and doing all these practice things, and everybody else, we were allowed to bring 5 things from home for our MasterChef kitchen stuff. Everybody else brought, my favorite spatula or some herbs I bought while I was in Provence. I brought my magical wand, a K2 meter, my witches. Nothing to do with cooking. Nothing to do with cooking. I didn't last long, but I didn't want to. I wanted to have the cooks go from there. But that's when I decided, oh my God, this was so much fun. Well, it was so hard, so scary. What can I do now? I have to do everything in 3. 3 is a magical number. And I think I put on like America's Got Talent, and I'm like, I am so mediocre. I mean, I sang, but mediocre. Dance, I'm okay. I danced with Gregory. I'm going to get on America's Got Talent. I remember being at the audition, I was number 5,000 at the LA Convention Center, public, and they were at every convention center across it. And I wasn't going, I hope that person trips. I hope that person does. I'm like, you do good and you do good. What you put out, you get back. Totally positive magic. Next thing I know, I am rolling on the floor, making a complete fool of myself with Howie Mandel, psychically reading his dog. I haven't figured out my next thing yet. But
that's amazing.
We could do anything, and have to do with health, have to do with money, have to do with love. We can have it all.
All right. You said you're not a cooker or a chef, but you've hung out with Gordon Ramsay on television.
I've done another cooking TV show too.
Okay, so let me ask you this: so if I'm grilling, what do I infuse into my grilling in order for my wife to consume, and so she thinks I'm right in an argument, even though I'm wrong? Is there something? Is there a spell I can do for that?
Like I said, basil, because basil calms things down.
Okay.
If you have some sliced tomatoes next to it, because tomatoes are love fruit, anything love. If you have a weird cinnamon put into them, that's going to put some passion into the whole thing. Yeah. Everything is the intent. Like you could make little signs and symbols with your little steak sauce going on to it. I'm telling you, stir your lasagna like this. Put intent, and mostly because, again, energy is everything. We know that. 7th grade science, this isn't solid. This is moving atoms. If you're stirring your kids' oatmeal with, oh my God, I got to get to work, and you're putting that into their oatmeal. Put love, health, and happiness and joy at school into their oatmeal.
I love it.
It works.
I absolutely love it. So it's all about intent.
Everything is about intent.
Yeah. That's
whole
great.
Life is about intent.
You mentioned tomatoes are a love food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They are. Anything red, really. Apples, super love food. Take it back to Adam and Eve. Super love food. Anything red is. Sweet things are love, usually. Spicy things are passion and hot. Sour things are protective. But I could don't have memorized. You could go through every kind of vegetable, but you're vegetarian, not vegetarian. Everything has attributes, just like we take aspirin is made from some plant. Everything has attributes to it.
You just said that like a couple minutes ago that you would be able to write a cookbook. And I believe it. I absolutely believe that you'd be able to write a cookbook, and you probably should after you put out this book. Now, I'm holding in my hand this book, Dollcraft, A Witch's Guide to Puppet Magic and Haunted Dolls. It's coming from our friends at Llewellyn Press. Cute book. I love it. I absolutely love it. Like I said, I've read through all of it except for the explanation of the different the spells at the end, the poppets and stuff, and I'll get to that. But boy, haunted dolls, Patti. Like so many people, like because of probably Hollywood and whatnot, but there is a creepy, weird Halloweenish fascination with haunted dolls. Like, let's talk about that for a little bit. Like, what was the genesis of you writing this cool book?
Mine was, again, I've always been a doll collector. I was born with Barbies in my hand. If we turn my camera around, I've got hundreds of eyes staring at me. What's the Barbie doll? Other dolls. My haunted girls are back here behind me for anybody.
I see them.
This one moves. Get used to it. One I'm charging. But I've always been a doll lover. I've always been into magic since I was 13. It just became one of my expertises. And then it became public when Zach flew me in to, it wasn't even Ghost Adventures. It was a spinoff called Deadly Possessions to do a seance with Peggy the doll before he even owned her. You know, that doll had given 2 people heart attacks and made 80 documented people sick just looking at a picture of Peggy the doll. She doesn't look haunted. She looks like a little Doris Day, 1960s blonde bubble, but she's dark. And I go visit her now. She knows me. She doesn't like me. But anyway, so I think that became a public, now I am this expert, which I became. And like my doll, Belle, a girl saw me in Belgium she figured if I could handle Peggy, I could handle Belle, who had made her sick for 3 years. And she sent her to me with my permission. Don't even need to go on the whole story, but just unboxing her had 50,000 views. They weren't my people. They were the dolls' people. She called them in, but there was something so dark over her. I would not let the sun set. Haunted dolls are fun. Good, positive haunted dolls are fun. Negative haunted dolls will cause arguments, illness, death, and more. And I'm like, people need to know. They've never been more popular. I mean, dolls have always been popular. Hauntings have always. Paranormal's not going away. It's not going away, no matter with TV, this and that, because times are scary. We understand that. Usually people go back. When times are scary, they've always been scary, but now it's in our face 24/7 scary. Traditionally, people would go back to their faith. I'm going back to church. I'm going back to temple. That's not holding up for everybody. So therefore, the rise and New Age and witchcraft, fastest growing religion. Some people don't even want that. I don't want religion. I don't want spirituality. I'm just afraid. And if we get blown up by the aliens tomorrow, I want to know I'm okay. I want to go on a ghost hunt. I want to become a paranormal investigator. So I want to go and see a ghost. And then I know if we get blown up tomorrow by the aliens, I'll be okay. So it's like and then they see that it's real. And then they'll often backdoor into a belief system. To me, your belief system, whichever it is, it's like a template you put onto it to navigate life. So then they'll backdoor back into a belief system, their old belief system. That's why I think paranormal is like the new religion for people who don't want religion, but want to know we're going to live on. But anyway, so dolls, never more popular. I mean, they've always been popular, but not by grown-ups like us, men and women of I know more men with big haunted doll collections. Like my dad wouldn't have had a haunted doll. It's a whole new world. And yes, it's television. Yes, it's the Conjuring houses. Yes, it's Annabelle and Robert the Doll and all these things. So I'm like, somebody has to write this book. Because, now that I'm an expert, people are going, the doll is making me sick. My doll made my 15-year-old run away. The kid is cutting themselves. It's because you have to have a good haunted doll. And equally so, I'm looking at people getting ripped off by eBay and Etsy going, can this one seller really have 709 haunted dolls with beautiful, big, long stories behind them? And Maybe they're just a really good writer and they got the doll at, the local thrift store or antique store. I mean, some of them are legit, of course. So I teach people kind of how to find the legit. Or if you want to create your own, you could really call a spirit into your own. And basically the care and feeding, even once I got the bad spirit out of Belle, she drained people's energy so bad. I had to keep little cups of rue in her hand, the herb rue. All of a sudden, if somebody has heart palpitations, won't have heart palpitations.
Wow.
So it just needed to be done. And now with like everything going on with Annabelle, it's like good timing, bad timing for this book.
Right. Yeah. I kind of want to bring it up without highlighting the tragedy too much because somebody did lose their life. But I mean, it was weird. I woke up that day and I saw that person passed away, and I'm not familiar with him. Like I never had him on the show or talked to him. So I'm trying to be as respectful as possible because I don't have any background on the individual at all. But a handler, a caretaker of the doll on tour passes away at the age of 54 in a hotel room. And so then everybody goes, it's the doll. Everybody says it's the doll. And I don't know about that stuff. But it, like you said, it's just in the news now of haunted doll this, haunted doll that. But what is it? And I know you answered this question in the book, but what is it about like a doll instead of say, no, I mean, a lot of things could be haunted for sure. Like I'm almost looking around for the next kind of prop in my, like this book or something like that, or this mug here, or like, what is it about? Is it the we anthropomorphize dolls and their representations of human beings? Like, what is it about a doll that makes it such a conduit of paranormal activity?
They have a face. If say you're a disembodied spirit and you want to hang out at your old house, you're just a disembodied spirit. You could, and you want a vessel. It's a vessel. So you could go into this cell phone stand or a doll with eyes and a face and nose and ears. I'm going in the doll because everyone can see her face move. It's 100 and some years old. It doesn't really move, but 3 people in a row will go, she's happy, happy, happy. The next day she's sad, sad. It moves energetically. This, not so much. So if I'm a spirit, I'm going in a doll, I'm going to find me a fabulous doll and probably a pretty doll, not a spooky looking doll, because that's even spookier if you so want. That's even in magic, in some sects of witchcraft, traditional British witchcraft, how witches have familiars and traditionally, it's in your cat and they do magic with you. They hold the veil between the worlds. In the Ket tradition of traditional, they don't put their familiars or invite their familiars into their cats because cats can be so cranky and independent. They put it into like a little skull. That's why you see skulls in metaphysical stores and occult stores. They call their familiar in because it has eyes and a nose and a face. You could whisper into that ear, look into the eyes. That's exactly why.
Amazing. Now, I'm not trying to spook you or anything. I mean, you live in your house. You're familiar with everything in your house and about your house. But when you were talking just a little bit ago, I saw something above your doll friend with the red dress there, the red sport house coat. Up above there, I saw a little misty, like a mist kind of pass by, and I'm like, oh, that's strange. I mean, it wasn't a bug or a spider.
No, I have a crazy active house because I have a French ghost who lives here. I have Belle. I'm charging another doll right now. I've had this is Belle's doll, Cheryl, a girlfriend named Cheryl gave her to her. She is absolutely not haunted. She's absolutely not haunted. You could tell she's Belle's baby. So I was teaching my class. I'm staring right into the camera right here. This is Cheryl. Pretend this is my doll.
Okay.
Both hands were on camera. All of a sudden, the doll moves 6 inches onto frame. I didn't even notice. All my students on the Zoom room noticed. And I'm like, this doll's not haunted. But we blew it up. We watched an orb, which are all over my house, come out of this bookcase right here into the doll, move the doll, and then shoot out of the doll into the room. It probably was Belle playing with her doll.
Girl.
I like having a crazy house.
Yeah.
My ghost, and she takes pictures out of frames, but I won't have a negative haunt. I won't. I can't. I don't get sick. I don't want my husband to get sick. So I had one thing that it was it was a doll too. It was kind of like a statuey, very New Orleans. A rock star client had given it to me, and it was fine for 2 years. Then all of a sudden I'm going, why am I not hanging in my office? I love my little office with all my dolls in it. Why? And I'm looking around. It's you. So I called Zach. I'm like, Zach, I have something for too dark for me. Do you want it for your museum? I'll give it to you. He's like, well, what is it? And I sent him a picture. I text him a picture. He goes, ooh, that's a nail fetish hate doll. I'll take it. So I was like, well, I'm going to Vegas tomorrow. I gave it to him. That doll started acting up that very night in his museum. But that's where a negative thing should be, like Peggy. It's curated. People know what they're going for. Nobody lives there. You're not raising children or animals or pets there. You don't have to sleep there. That's where that thing belongs.
Amazing.
So I have a crazy, active, unexplainable by everything. But if something negative gets in, you're out.
Let me tell you what I've got in my house. Now I got a pretty vanilla house compared to you. What's good? Vanilla good for?
Oh, well, think about it. It's sweet. It's love. It's warm, all sorts of things.
Okay. All right. But
almost anything that naturally comes to mind is probably the right answer.
Okay. Great. Well, okay. Well, I do have kind of a Midwest, I have my little corner here of cool stuff, but I've got a painting over here that I got from John Tenney. And he was explaining, like, when he does his paintings, like, he puts some intent into them and things like that. So I'm just trying to see if I feel anything from there. And then 2 years ago, there's a poster right there. I had a live event with John Tenney and Cindy Keza for my podcast. They came into Omaha. And as a thank you, Cindy she made me a piece of art, which is over on another wall. And she showed me a picture of it before she mailed it. I had the tracking number, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I knew it was coming. I knew what it looked like. But Patti, I tell you, when I opened up the box and I took it out, I don't know. I felt like a charge. Like, I mean, I was excited to get it, but that excitement had been coming for weeks and weeks. You know what I'm saying? But it was like the weirdest thing of opening up this package that she had packed and sent. And I hang it on my wall. It was just like I don't feel like I'm psychic at all, but I felt like at that time I had some kind of burst of energy from there.
That's magic.
Yeah.
And we can all tap into it.
Cool.
Like I said, you wouldn't even be any in this business if you didn't have some gift, some intuition, whether you want to call yourself psychic or not, that doesn't matter.
Yeah. I wish I was psychic. I think that'd be a lot of fun, but I think we all have that potential to have some kind of connectiveness to something that we don't understand and we don't know what words to apply to it. You know, some people call it a coincidence or a deja vu, or I had a dream about something and, oh my gosh, deja vu, and it happened. Or I think we all have some kind of connection and hopefully like American capitalist society doesn't beat it out of me, take all the magic and fun and whimsical stuff out of your life.
Well, it won't, because again, because you are in this business, you do have this podcast, you do what you do.
Yeah. Okay. Now let me ask you this, since I've got somebody with your experience and everything, this is kind of a selfish question, but I'm working on a book and I've been working on it for a little bit, but it's different, like kind of paranormal case studies and things that I've experienced in my life. And one of the chapters is about a friend of mine who called me to his house. I know him for a while, but he was kind of embarrassed to admit that there was some kind of perceived paranormal activity in his house. He's kind of embarrassed, but then he knew I was into this stuff. And so him and his wife had me over to talk about it and see what I thought about it. And like when I came over, they didn't want to talk about it in the house. We had to go out on the back patio, just things falling off the wall. Other psychics had seen things that they brought into their house and just terrible feelings. And we went through the history of the house and we found out that the house is only 30 years old. He's the third owner. First owner who built the house, wonderful person. Second person who owned the house pretty much let the place rot around him. Just a real negative, lack of a better word, son of a bitch, right? Terrible, terrible energy. And then him and his wife, my friend, bought the house, renovated it because the guy didn't do a thing to it. And actually there was fist-sized holes. You get the picture. Anyway, nobody died in the house. Everybody who's owned the house is still alive. And so I was really intrigued, and I'm writing about, like, can houses, can places, can objects be haunted by living people or spiritual energy that's imbibed in something, and there's been no tragedy or death or anything like that.
Yeah. It's not that they're haunted by the living people, but it's that energy. It's like the residual energy. If like where they were tortured, that's why you go to the great old insane asylums where people were tortured for so years and how haunted they are. But yeah, that person, it's sometimes it's residual and sometimes it creates its own spirit or egregore, whatever you want to do it. It's the left. I always say it's like a smell, but it's not a smell. Like, say you bake some yummy chocolate chip cookies but your wife ate them all, but the smell still lingers, right? It does. It's still there. Or you stepped in dog poop. You've already cleaned off the shoes, but it still stinks. Yeah. That's it stays in the house.
Yeah.
You walk into a place of worship, a thing, or the joy, you feel the joy. Often it doesn't. And I think so often it doesn't, somebody died in the house or not is not that big of a difference. So many houses that are haunted, no one ever died in. So many houses that people died in absolutely aren't haunted. Because again, I think the spirits that most of the time they're not stuck and and I don't think there's time and space on the other side. So they could be at pearly gates if you believe in that. They could be reincarnated in their new grandkid and they could be hanging out in their old house because they want to.
Yeah, that's super interesting to me because like I've never been so mad in my life that I've punched holes into a wall. But this guy had, when they moved in, they had to have, fist-sized holes in the drywall fixed and this and that. And I was just, my advice to him was just like, start celebrating birthdays bigger. Start having, have a merrier Christmas early. Have anniversary parties. Invite your friends over for, pops and beer or whatever. Put as much positive spin into your place as possible. And you've been there for 5 years. This guy was there for like 9 or 10 or 11 years. Like it might take a while of real intent of cleaning the place or putting positive vibes in there and see what happens. And it seems like it's kind of working. It's nothing that I did or anything like that, but I just think I couldn't think of anything else to offer him other than like make it your own and let's be happy and celebrate life.
That was absolutely brilliant advice, and I would have given the same. But you can also do house clearings, and you should. My first book, Old World Magic for the Modern World, There's a super simple do-it-yourself house clearing. We always go, unless you're in Australia always go counterclockwise when you're clearing or cooking to let go of walking around the dining room tip. It's magnetics, it's science as much as magic. It's called Widdershins going. So I'm burning my Palo Santo and whatever. Clear counterclockwise around the whole house. Then make sure you fill it, hit pots and pans together, burn things, sprays, oils, hit drums, clear, push it out windows, doors. Then you want to fill it up with everything you want. Stand in front of the front door. Who gets to come in the house? Only people invited in, people with respect for me, my home, my family. What comes in that window? Fresh air, inspiration, opportunity. What do you want in your bedroom? Great intimacy, great sleep. Kids room. Fill it up with attributes, every window. And now it's all filled up with this positive, like you said, like celebrating Christmas bigger. There's no room for the dark stuff. And always claim your home. There's this old English thing called beating the bounds. Take your broom. You don't have to have a witch's broom, but do it on Halloween Eve or do it whenever you move or do a house clearing. Go out front of the house. Take your broom. Pretend this is a full-size broom. Go across the front of your house going, I claim this home as my own. I claim this land as my own. And hit it I claim this space as my own. Let it reverberate into the earth. It's claiming it. Whether you have one half of a single apartment, bedroom, you're sharing, go across your section of it, or a mansion or whatever, it's claiming it as your own, and it reverberates into the walls.
It's funny you mentioned the broom thing, and every New Year's Eve, my family thinks I'm nuts, but on New Year's Eve, I always take my broom and open up the front door and then kind of sweep the old year out and kind of let that fresh January 1st midnight air come in.
Magic. See, you're a witch.
I love it. Brian, the lousy witch. Patti, the good witch, Brian, the lousy witch. Now, okay. So Patti, I know our time is drawing to a close here, but like we talked about a lot of things here. You've got this really cool new book from our friends at Llewellyn, Dollcraft, A Witch's Guide to Pauper Magic and Haunted Dolls. Really cool, just beautiful art. It's just, I love the size of it too. It's like, it's unique. It's as unique as the author, right? You've got a really cool podcast too, Witching Hour. I've been going through listening to all those episodes. Really, really nice one with Dave Schrader not too long ago too.
Yes, I love Dave. He actually got me my first ghost adventures like over 10 years ago. Basically, I've been doing that show for 10 years, 2 episodes a year for 10 years, 20. But he was the one who first recommended me. So I love Dave.
Boy, that was a great, like, you're a good conversationalist, but like you guys really, like, I was listening to them, like, oh boy, that was really just a great episode of just people talking and enjoying each other's company. I thought that was especially was a good episode. PattiNegri.com, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we got Paraflix.
Flix.com. If you've seen everything on Travel Channel and Discovery, a whole new set. It's as professional. If you open up Netflix or you open up Amazon, Paraflix is just as professional. All right.
I know.
Proud of our app on that. And then if you want to learn to do all those weird things, either talking to dead people or witchcraft, I started a school about University Magicus. So when I saw people charging so much money to teach, especially TV people, I'm like, I couldn't have paid that. So I have a school where like $20 or less a class, I teach all this stuff that I do on little Zoom squares like this, where my dolls walk by. Yeah.
And your cat.
And my cat. And my cat.
Well, this has been super fun. And what I love about your story too, is that you've been true to yourself for all this time, like 7 years old, realizing that you had these gifts, maybe not even knowing at the time why, but they just felt so intuitive to you. And and then, like, you know, you had to keep it a little bit under wraps in the corporate world. But then when you decided to let go and just be yourself 100%, what a great story for everybody, like to be yourself and find out what resonates with you and to be that light. I think that's great. And then, like, keeping yourself healthy, and then like going out and having adventures, and then going out and having fun, meeting celebrities and being on television shows, and like cooking and dancing with Gregory Hines. I mean, like a million things that you have done. And you just bring a joy and a spirit. And for me, this has been an absolute delight to talk to you.
Well, you're great. You're a fabulous host. I need to have you on my show too. We could reverse it because you're a great host. So thank you for that. You're a generous host.
Well, I appreciate that. And the longer I do this, it's just I always joke that it's kind of selfish. Like I have all these interests and I have these ideas or questions. And then I'm like, well, I'm just going to go right to the source and ask like the people that know about these things. Like, I didn't know the differences between good witch and what do you mean by all that? And so, well, I could go to Google or I could ask Patti Negri. So what a delight it's been to get to know you. And my goodness, this time has flown by.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I'll see you on my show. And yeah, that's it. Mine's selfish too. That's why I have my show. It's half spiritual witchy people, half paranormal people. So I get to learn something every week.
Well, bless you. And what a fun afternoon of talking to you, and most success, whatever you need to do to conjure up success for you and your friends and your loved ones. Please do continue everything that you do.
That was fun. You're a great host.
Well, there we go, everybody. Episode 301 of the Necronomicast. The great Patti Negri. Patti's been on my spreadsheet for a long time. Always wanted to have the opportunity to talk to her. And with the release of her book, Dollcraft, and the stars aligned, the planets aligned, and we were able to have that conversation happen. She's a ton of fun. Whip smart, the best. And her podcast is great too. By all means, listen to every single episode all the time of Necronomicast. But if you got some spare time in your life, go ahead. Check out Patti's podcast. You will not be disappointed. Now, you won't be disappointed. How's that for a segue? You won't be disappointed with my next guest. Episode 302, coming 2 short weeks away. Paul Vecchiette, author, experiencer, and his book, The Disclosure Paradox. That's going to be a lot of fun. Paul's great. I'm just looking over the spreadsheet right now. Why don't I? Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh, that one coming up's good. Oh boy, I can't wait to play that one around Halloween. some big names, but interesting stories, more important than their notoriety. A lot of people bringing a lot to the table for my little old show. So, super excited. If you're coming to Omaha, Nebraska anytime in the near future, October would be a good month. October 9th and 30th, join me, Jamie Nestrel from Midwest Paranormal History Tours, John Paul from the Joslyn Castle for an interactive and fun experience inside one of Omaha's most regal and historic buildings. Highly Spirited. That's the name of the event. Come to the Joslyn Castle. It's hella haunted. In a nice way. There'll be some lectures and some cash bar and presentations and candlelit paranormal investigation tours of the Joslyn Castle, which they don't allow very often. So yeah, lots going on in Omaha. Got some library lectures coming up, kind of sharpening my skills at public speaking. A lot going on here. Oh my goodness gracious. So I hope everybody out there in podcast land is doing well. There's a lot of great activities going on, I see, on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere else. People are sharing these great historic and kind of haunted events around the country. Got a lot of former guests doing some big things at some remarkable locations. So if you see an event coming to your town in October, September, October, that's on the spooky side, hey, listening to podcasts is great. Watching documentaries on TV is great. But if it's your bag, get out of the house, buy a ticket, and go have an experience. You'll be glad you did. So, looking through the emails, had a lot of great ones, a lot of nice comments about my 300th episode of Necronomicast. And that was a big deal. Having Jim Harold on the show, lots of listeners, of course. I'm very thankful for that. But the emails, like when people take time to say, hey, nice job, enjoyed the show. I never heard of Jim Harold before. Going to listen to his show, Brian. And by all means, yeah. Branch out with your listening and listen to some of these great voices out there. No, Jim's been doing it longer than anybody else. So if you haven't heard of Jim Harold, or Patti Negri, or anybody else that I've featured on my show the last number of years, there's a little search function, a little search bar in your podcast app of choice, and you can go and look up paranormal shows and look up voices and look up personalities and authors and documentary filmmakers and people that put on events. It's a whole big, beautiful world out there, and we're connected in ways that have never been done before. So that's my little spiel for today. This episode was sponsored by my friend Angela. Angela, thank you so much for the buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com. You bought me a few coffees, so yeah, that certainly goes a long way in helping out with the expenses of this show. Podcasting is not free, but I do present the show to you free of charge out of the kindness of my heart and the generosity of my listeners. So with that, my friend Andrew Vogt on saxophone will take us out. Support jazz musicians too, my goodness. Anyway, everybody, thanks for listening. Go get some sleep.